viewers and gamers alike out there, and welcome back for more of Arkham Twin Days of the Amazing Spider-Man from the movie license game and the movie itself. So yay! Okay, now that we're gonna... Where do I continue to pick up? Oh yes, the man in the unitard. So, Peter Parker had to come back home to Aunt May's home from where he lives with his aunt from now on. And, of course, he forgotten one thing. He forgot to buy the eggs. He forgot to buy the eggs, so yeah. I cannot believe he forgot to buy the eggs, so he did not want to take off the hood because it would be an inconspicuous bad idea. So, of course, Aunt May told him to take off the hood, like, completely. It just said, look at me and take off the hood. And so he took off the hood, and then Aunt May was completely in shock that he looks like he was kind of beaten up. And so what is he about to do next? He says, please go to sleep, Aunt May. And Aunt May says, I can't go to sleep. Of course, on this game, he had to fight a giant spider slayer robot, and he had to fight another slayer that's not like some kind of giant snake that acts on defense or some sort, which is funny. It's just pretty cool if you want to know. And so, how is he going to solve this predicament? I don't know. But he's got to think of something fast. Now, what is he going to do if he doesn't know what to do? Well, so simple. He is going to... Oh boy. Yes, got it. So how am I supposed to explain this? So why did Peter Parker had to do something about it? He does not want to go to sleep, so he decided to do, well, if only he has to do something to stop bad guys and fight crime in the city of New York, or the Metro, or Manhattan, whichever works best for him. He does not want to lose it. Now, why? He looks pretty good in the Spider-Man costume. Let's see, since Alistair Smythe was not in the movie, of course he's in this game of The Amazing Spider-Man, which is a movie licensed game, which is what happened prior, or is the sequel to, well, not the sequel of the second movie, I mean the sequel to that of Dr. Curtis Connors. So what in blazes that he is going to have to do something about it is just going to be not an easy way to find this guy who's Ben Parker's killer. Of course, in the movie, he's just kind of... He was just disappointed. Now that Peter Parker is able to how do I say, he's able to hack into radio wave communications of police officers. He'll be listening to on the communication comms for the only way to catch this killer who murdered Ben Parker. It will not be easy for the friendly neighborhood webbed hero to find this killer, even if it takes for the rest of his life to find him. However, but since this is the game, he had to, of course, there was something that he's going to have to do, is to go visit Dr. Curtis Connors. But before Dr. Curtis Connors was about to go out, this guy who works for Oscorp says that he needs the serum for the anti-life, not the anti-life equation, for the ACADE algorithm that would grow limbs or some sort. And he said we're going to try to use the test subjects of a veterans home. He says and Mr. Connor says, "You've got to be kidding me." And was it a smart way to do? I have no idea. How or what's going to happen next, I'll never know. So, he's not going to do it. And this guy fired him because he wants him to pack his bags that he must be moved out by tomorrow morning. So he's going to have to do something about it. So he decided to do that little test serum subject on himself. Kind of feels very strange. And then his arm is starting to feel numb. Well, he only had one arm because he started to grow a limb, which is a new arm and a hand. He could not believe his eyes. He finally grew an arm and a limb right in front of his eyes. So he's going to try to call the associates or the one who's in charge of Oscorp. So he got the chance to make a phone call, but instead he started feel strange in his mind. He's like not himself anymore. So yeah, he is not himself, and he tells this taxi driver to take him to the bridge. I'm guessing the Brooklyn Bridge or some sort. I don't know if it's the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge, because anybody's back in the New York groove. And now, finally, the lizard appears, whose name, Dr. Curtis Connors, has finally been able to transform into the lizard. And finding the one who's in charge of Oscorp that he wants to get rid of. So he's going to find a way to get rid of him, is to take him out of the equation. Of course, Spider-Man, who is not called Spider-Man yet, but still the name of Peter Parker, decides that he is going to do something about it. He is going to stop the lizard and rescue citizens, and then as you can see, Peter Parker was going to save this child, because how was he able to web the car so quick and fast? I'll never know. I'm guessing the movie producer or the one who is in charge decided that we're not going to let these cars drop up so fast. We're going to see that Spider-Man is getting webbed up the cars like a spider web. I have no idea how that would happen. I'm guessing that could have worked, but that was some continuity error. And now that the question is over, that Peter Parker was going to try to save this young boy whose name is Jack. Of course, he had to take off the mask because it's a Spider-Man thing, because anybody wants to have their secret identity revealed to young kids. And then he tells him to put on the mask, it's going to make you strong. And he says, will you do me a favor, Jack? Go a little faster. And then the car's starting to fall, and then the spider... And then he was holding onto this rear bumper of the car. And then you see Spider-Man, well, Peter, tried to web zip this kid and is able to save his life. So, yeah. Was not easy for a guy who's a teenager wearing red tights. Now that he is able to save that boy's life, of course the father tells him, who are you? And he said, Spider-Man. And then he finally is able to web zip out of here. And he's starting to wonder, with this kind of great power comes in great responsibility. Of course, he does not say it in the movie, like I said, but in the Amazing Spider-Man games of numbers 1 and 2, he does say it, which is voiced by Sam Riegel, who voices Donatello from TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Back in the Sewer. So Sam Riegel was the voice of Donatello of that 2005 Turtle, or the 2002 Turtle series, or 2001 or 2003, and voiced Donatello for over 10 years. And now he is doing Japanese anime voice acting, which is pretty cool, which he can sound just like a teenager or something, what's going on. And it's just a very talented voice actor, Sam Riegel. And to be honest, he almost kind of sounded like Tobey Maguire, which was pretty good. And I mean, he tries to sound more like emo Spider-Man instead of Whiner Man, which is Tobey Maguire, which is pretty awesome. And now that things are going to go so well with Peter Parker, he decided that rescuing citizens and its people comes like his own top priority, and not to mention stopping bad guys and punching crime in the face. Oh yeah, that's what Batman does. It's because his own Arkham series now that he is able to do this kind of responsibility, it's up to him to live Uncle Ben's legacy, to carry on, to do a right and justifiable way of action. When you rescue someone, or how is this? When you help someone, you help everyone. Yeah, that is a cool reference back of the Marvel Spider-Man, which that game is like an Arkham feel, because that game is Arkham City and Arkham Knight into one without the Arkham-mobile of Batman's Bat Tank. Now that we are going to get a little bit more interesting about the info, how is going to happen and why? So Spider-Man is going to do what he does best, saving the citizens and its people. Of course, he is going to, he's going to go to, well, actually, before, when he went to that, going to that Brooklyn Bridge or saving that boy's life, he had to meet up with Gwen Stacy, of course, his first great girlfriend, because it's his first love, and he wants to be together with Gwen Stacy. Of course, he had dinner with the Stacy family because he wants to make sure he's not the bad guy.
I should get a subscription.
And he wasn't the bad guy because he said he's something about a video that he saw that he's trying to help people, and over this heated argument, and it was just okay, and then he stayed up firmly up on their own butt skis because of trying to help the police, but Captain Stacy believes he's just a criminal vigilante. Of course, that's what Batman is, but not really, though. Of course, of that 2004 series of The Batman, because Kung Fu Batman was being hunted by Chief Rojas, which kind of had a different story. And then when that Chief Rojas of the Batman, and the one Chief Rojas from the Adam West TV show. Now that he is able to save them, he's gonna find some clues to try to trap the lizard. Well, not try to trap.
Look what we got here.
Of course, that now that Gwen Stacy and Peter Gwen Stacy know who Spider-Man is, he wants to do everything he can in his power to protect her, even though he had to keep her out of harm's way. And so, of course, he's going to try to set up a trap to stop the lizard. And he says, I don't know, whatever that thing is, I got to stop it or something. And so you can see Dr. Curtis Connors was desperate because of that serum, because of the ACADE algorithm, that he increased the dosage to 200 milligrams, injected him to himself of the serum to grow his limb back, and once again he is the lizard. So yeah, the lizard once again strikes in the city of New Yorkers in Manhattan. So what else going to do? He's going to, like always, he's going to set a trap for the lizard and try to capture him like a real spider. The way he tried to capture, like, the cross species animal, which is a rat, and of course it would have been Master Splinter to having eating pizza with some adopted son, so he could come all the way home and being as Spider-Tello. Donatello is Spider-Man! And Sam Riegel did a perfect line because he gave that reference line of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as the voice of Donatello, which was so awesome that this game did really well, and it was perfect for Sam Riegel to put in that line as like a one last hurrah before he does other voice acting. Like, when I said Japanese anime, like he's from Fire Emblem Heroes, and he is also from Power Rangers, Super Mega Force, and Mega Force perhaps, which is my strongly guess. Finding those cross-species animals besides the rat, the rhino, a scorpion, a giant, well, not a giant, more like a monstrous iguana as well, who has been kidnapped by T.J. Harper, who is the district attorney, and no, he is not Harvey Dent. I believe in Harvey Dent. Vote for DJ Harper. So yes, it's a little confusing, but the storyline of the Amazing Spider-Man, even though it's a movie licensed game, which took place after the Lizard incident, you know, is a great storytelling, because the story of this game was well done. It was well done, and I believe that was the case, to have Spider-Man doing what he needs to do. So now that Spider-Man is going to set a trap for the Lizard, he sees something like, oh boy, that he sees, well, nothing like he would have seen before. Of course, when he tried to visit Dr. Curtis Connors at his home, he said he gave everybody the night off, and things are starting to happen, like wonderful things. And you remember one of the three-legged mice? I don't know if it's Fred or Wilma, or a three-legged mouse. I don't know if it's Fred or Wilma. It's got to be one of them. And you're not going to believe what just happened. So one of them got eaten because of that formula of the ACADE algorithm, that one of them's a cannibal to eat their own kind, and it's the mouse, a white lab rat mouse. I don't know if it's Fred or Wilma, because I can never tell, but it was very, very strange, and I'll never know why, because it's weird. Well, actually, it's not weird, because that rat ate its own kind, and he did enjoy it. So yay! That rat ate its own kind, and I'll never forget it. So he's going to set a trap for the Lizard, as like I said before. How will he able to find the Lizard? It's coming to the sewers. And he was playing this game of, I don't know, like Double Bubble or Bubble Trouble thing on his cell phone. And finally, Spider-Man is going to get the Lizard. But then he sees one of his webs is moving like crazy, and then a second, a third, and his webs are starting to move like crazy. So how is he going to do this? So he has to follow the one with the most lizards. That will lead him to the Lizard himself of Dr. Connors. And now that Dr. Connors is in full-blown Lizard mode, he kind of snuck the old sneaking behind trick. And then the Lizard wanted to stop him, and he says, "You won't stop me. You have stopped me once, and you won't stop me again, and I'm getting stronger every day." And Peter Parker was this close getting clawed to death. But he did got away with leaving some scars, even though he has like that quick healing, because he has that spider DNA, which makes him how do I say, not a mutant, more or less, self-heal. And now that he is able to, he's trying to get away from Dr. Connors, trying to get a good picture of his camera, or digital camera, or the photographer's camera. He is able to escape through the sewers, even though the water sewage. And he said, "Oh, that sucked." And then the Lizard sees something about there was a camera, because he's trying to get out of the webs. and then he sees the property of the owner of the camera, and it says Peter Parker. Oh no, that was a bad move. If only Peter Parker would not leave his camera alive, or left his camera behind, but he did! He left the camera behind, and now his secret identity is no longer a secret to the Lizard. Now that the Lizard knows who Spider-Man is, and it's going to be in big trouble. But I do believe we are going to stop here for the time being, and don't worry, we are going to continue to pick up from where we left off for another time and celebrate Autism Awareness Month for the last and final time. So, wearing the colors red, yellow, and mostly blue. So this is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational special being and your amazing Spider Cop, who takes chances, makes mistakes, and get messy in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember, always fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. And see you guys next time for more of Arkham to Wednesday.